All right, fans, I'm joined now on this week's The Final Count Spotlight by Jesse Dynamite. How you doing, Jesse?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Thank you for joining me on this week's The Final Count Spotlight.
My pleasure.
Very excited. Very excited to talk to you this week. And so, getting started, when did you decide to get into the pro wrestling business?
Well, it was February 2022. I started, so I'm still pretty new. But yeah, literally about 18 months I've been wrestling. Yeah. As soon
All
as I
right.
turned 18, as soon as I turned 18, um, yeah, started going to Al Snow's Wrestling Academy in the Midlands, and took it from there.
Awesome. Now, did you like grow up watching wrestling as a kid? Did you want to be as a wrestler growing up as a kid, or?
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think probably like 2 years old, 3 years old. Remember
Yeah.
some of my earliest memories, like as
Really?
wrestling, were I remember the Killer Bees, seeing them on TV, like because my dad was like a big wrestling fan, so I used to watch like 80s wrestling all the time. So I
Right.
remember seeing like the Killer Bees and like Randy Savage and Jimmy Snooker, and like, I remember seeing that and being like mesmerised by that. And then strangely enough, SmackDown versus Raw 2008. That was one of my
Yeah.
earliest memories as well because I remember seeing that video game and being like, "Wow, like, what is this?" Playing that, and then yeah, I was hooked on wrestling, hooked on it.
There you go. There you go. That happens with a lot of us, I believe. We get hooked on it from an early age, and then it's like everybody thinks, oh, it's just a phase, but it's
Yeah,
not
it's
just
not.
a phase or something. But yeah. Did you
Yeah.
have any inspirations that you really like to watch, or who were some of your favorites growing up?
Growing up, it was the Undertaker for me. Loved the Undertaker. Loved Kofi Kingston as well. He was one of
Mm-hmm.
my favourites growing up as a child. But since becoming a wrestler, I've always took a lot of inspiration from Dynamite Kid was one, which really the name Jesse Dynamite was quite fitting, really for that. Um, Dean Malenko was another one. Uh, Loved Kerry Von Erich, uh, Randy Savage. There's quite a few. There's quite a few wrestlers where like these little things I've took from each of them and tried to put it all together.
Make it all your
That
own.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, who were you trained by? Like your initial trainers?
Initially, I was trained with ASWA, which is Al Snow's Wrestling Academy. But at the moment, I'm training a few different places. So I've got AWW, which is Alternative Wrestling World. One of the trainers there's Dave Mastiff, which you know about.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've been training at Aspire Wrestling as well, which their head trainer's Paul Mallon, who's quite an accomplished wrestler here in the UK. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Your initial training, what was that like?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Um, I went there. Um, yeah, as I said, February 2022, and the class was quite small, which was good because obviously the less people there is, the more ring time you're getting. So I think I picked up things pretty quickly, and we went through quite a lot to begin with, and yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good because there was good opportunities to go on shows, and yeah, it was sound. Yeah, it was only like half an hour away from my house as well, which was ideal. So yeah, it was pretty good. Gave me the platform I needed, and
There you
yeah, helped me on the way to LVW, which was good.
Yeah, and I'm sure it put eyes on you, like it puts eyes on you and gives you the opportunity. Being Al Snow Wrestling Academy, it gives you that opportunity in that sense of like, hey, Al Snow's, I'm sure watching it and seeing the guys there, the guys and girls there, and so I'm sure for sure it definitely gave you that advantage in that sense. Um,
Yeah,
do you remember your first match? And if so, what was that like?
yeah, I do. Yeah, I hadn't been training long, literally about a month, and I remember it was quite crazy, really. First match, it was in a cage. It's the only cage match I've ever done. and it was the first match, which was crazy. And it was for the promotion's title as well, which obviously set the nerves a bit. I was like, oh, I'm a bit nervous now, but yeah, it was crazy experience. It's like I was really nervous beforehand, like I'd only been training like a month, but yeah, went out there. I think we had a good match. I think we had a really good match. Like for the standard for a first match anyway, and yeah, it went really well. Crowd reactions were loud. The house was packed. There was probably I don't know how many people were there, but it was pretty full. And yeah, I actually won the title on the first match as well, which was really cool. Yeah, which I didn't know about beforehand till the match. So that was a really cool experience. Yeah,
That's such a unique like opportunity. Not a lot of people get to win a title on their first match. Like that's
and
really awesome.
I was the most shocked person there. Trust me.
Yeah, I bet. And then
Yeah.
being in a cage match too at that, like a lot of people, it's like, oh, I was thrown into a battle royal or something like that. But being in a cage match, oh my gosh, I can I bet the nerves for sure.
It's a unique way to start. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. If you could pick while we're talking about matches, if you could pick three matches that you've had thus far in your career as your top favorite matches, what matches would you pick?
Ooh, I'd say one of them would have to be a recent one. Um, the five-way at LVW for the Rush Division title.
Mhm.
He was in Middlesbrough on the summer tour. That was me, Cal Hero, Manny Domingo, Jared Kripke, and Nakeem. And it was my second match at LVW, and we went out first, and they gave me the mic, so that was really cool. And instantly they hated me because I was British, so that was perfect. And the match went really well. It went really well, and the ending was really good. It was one of my favourite moments while wrestling because the ending was I'd hit a big move on Kripke, I think it was, and I was like selling it out to the crowd, and they were booing me and hating me. And then Cal climbs to the top rope behind me, and the crowd were like buzzing. And then I think I turned right at the right time, and they popped. They popped for it. It was really good. And yeah, that was one of my favourite moments. So that's definitely up there. Second would be, I think I had a really good match in. It was a tag match. It was called ASWA Ultra Card 3. I think it was. The show was called. And it was a tag match for the tag belts. It was me and Aaron James against Leighton Cole and Steve Sin, and that was a really good match. It was 2 out of 3 falls, and it ended as a draw in the end. But again, the crowd loved it. The match itself I felt was really good, and yeah, it went really well. It went really well. And we got a massive pop at the start in the entrance, and then the crowd thought we had it at the end because what happened was, I think the ending was I hit a frog splash, pinned 1, 2, 3, bell goes, and everyone's like, oh, we've won the titles. We're celebrating with these belts. And then the ring announcer says it's a time limit draw, and that's what the bell was for. And yeah, obviously the crowd like, oh. So yeah, that was a really cool experience as well. That was a really good match. And then thirdly, could be a few. I mean, the debut was cool. Again, as I said, the match went pretty well for a debut, and it was a really cool experience. And your first match is one you'll never forget, is it? So maybe that one, or maybe I had a match with this guy called Ash Cady a few months ago, and that was a really good match. When I watched it back, I thought it was pretty good, and I thought like, I was really happy with that match. So maybe that one. or maybe the tag matches I had at LVW as well. You know, just the
Yeah.
fact that being in the Davis Arena, seeing that, like, having a match there was really cool. So the first match I had there was against the Derby City Destroyers, and they were the tag champs at the time. So that was really cool. And then the other match was against Star Rider and Will Austin, and I thought that match went really well too. So third, it could be a number of matches really. Could be anything.
Oh,
But
nothing wrong with that, and I like how you had that variety of the different matches, and but you knew what that top one, you knew what that one was. I like that. Great
yeah, that was
matches right
cool.
there. Uh, now how did you decide to use the name Jesse Dynamite?
Um, Initially, I was a bit stuck on what to come up with for a name. So before my first match, it was actually decided on the day of my first match.
Mhm.
With the promoter, I was running through different names. He called me up and he was like, "Right, what's your name going to be?" And then my real name's Jesse. And he was like, Jesse's quite unique. We could go with Jesse, but we got to think of a last name. So I'm like, don't know. And he ran through a few things, and he said Jesse Dynamite, and like one of my main inspirations for being a wrestler was Dynamite Kid.
Mhm.
And I was like, that's a good idea. I'll go with that. And then it stuck. And then I kind of made it stick as well, because with my debut being quite shocking and quite really out there, it was more it was like a Dynamite debut, I suppose. And
Yeah,
was kind of stuck. And then I made a logo for it, and it that's it now. Jesse Dynamite. Well, it is.
there you go.
There you go.
Self explanatory right there, pretty
Yeah.
much. And I like that logo by the way too. That logo's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. For those who may have not seen a Jesse Dynamite match yet, who may have not seen you work in the ring, uh, how can how would you describe your style?
Um, so it's quite hard hitting, um, quite fast paced, high flying to a certain degree. It's not flippy, but it's high flying. You'll see some high stuff in there, and it depends where you are, man. Depends where you are. In America, it's going to be a bit more in your face. I'm British and I'm better than you. But in the UK, it's a bit different. Um, yeah, the crowd responds a bit different, so it's more, less in your face. I'm not trying to be a heel most of the time.
Right.
A lot of the time there's cheers and stuff, but yeah, it depends what you're getting. Depends where you are. Depends where you are. Yeah.
Good answer, like that, right there. Yeah, I can definitely see where you say like hard hitting for sure. I can definitely see that. And then, like I said, it really depends. Even in America, in American wrestling, there's there's different crowds, in different parts of the country too, and so like definitely for sure. Also, always depends on the crowd, no matter where you're at. Um,
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it totally depends what crowd you work in.
mhm.
You know, some of them they'll just not like you immediately, and you've got to change up what you've got planned. Sometimes they'll love you, and totally depends. Totally depends.
It really does. Do you prefer to work as a heel or a babyface?
Um, Not sure. Not sure. Um, I think I've worked face more than I've worked heel, but recently I've been working heel. Like in America, I worked heel most of the time. Um, like the past couple of months, and like in training sessions and stuff, I've taken the role of a heel. So I think at the moment I'm enjoying heel a bit more. Um, I think I don't know. I feel like you have a bit more freedom as a heel, don't you? I feel you sort of, you know, you're not as smiley, you're not as no, no, hard to explain, but Yeah, I think I'm preferring heel at the moment. It's something a bit more fresh to me at the minute. So
Yeah,
heel's the one for me at the minute.
there you go. Yeah, no, like a heel seems definitely like fun to be, be fun to be a heel, like because you get to tell people off, or however whatever you want to do. Like you said, you get more freedom in that sense,
Yeah,
to go
yeah.
where you want to go with everything. Um, what was it like working your matches with Ash Katie? I don't know if I pronounced his name right or not.
Yeah, Ash Cady, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people mispronounce his name. He gets called Ash Caddy all the time, and it winds him up. It's quite funny. But yeah, really good, really good. Probably one of my favourite people to work with. Really easy to work with. Um, I really like how he structures matches as well. Found it really easy to work with him, and I think I've had some of my best matches with him. Like I was saying earlier, there was I don't know if you've seen it. There was one. It was Ultra Card 4, I think the show was called. Yeah, and that was the match I was talking about earlier. It was really went really well, I felt, and yeah, probably one of my favourite to work with.
Yeah, I watched that one, and that was a really good match. For sure, that it was definitely a good match. So you're a former tag team champion. You're a former world heavyweight champion, I believe. And so, what does it mean to you when a promotion puts their championship, be it a tag team championship or a heavyweight championship? What does that mean to you?
Uh, it means a lot. It means a lot. It means that they see you as a draw, I suppose, and it means they trust you. Um, and the good thing is that it means that they see you as important, if you know what I mean. So you're one of the main guys, but at the same time, you have to make sure it doesn't go to your head.
Right.
Um, it, like from what I've seen, like on interviews and stuff, like higher up, it can go to people's heads. So you've always got to remember that it's a championship, but it's not life and death. So it's good to have them, but at the same time, it's good to chase them, and you can't blow up about losing them or winning them. So they're a prop, really, aren't they? They're a prop, and it's always good to have them, but you can't let them go to your head.
Well said. Well said. Um, how did you find out you would be paired with Aaron James to form the tag team, the Pack?
That came about because, well, me and Aaron were about the same age. I'm 19, and I think he's 22, 23, something like that. And so we had like a similar style, similar age, and initially we'd done some matches against each other, and they were really good matches actually. I should have mentioned them earlier, but yeah, we had some really good matches together. And then in the summer, um, we were both on some like festival shows. So there's like you're at a festival, and then there's like two or three shows throughout the day, and for whatever reason we were paired up like as a tag team, and it went pretty well. And I started to think like, I think we'd do quite well as a tag team. So I mentioned it in a training session to him once, and he agreed on it, and we went ahead with the tag team, and yeah, it just went from there.
Yeah, look, and y'all are former tag team champions and everything, and so like that's pretty awesome, right there.
Worked pretty well, yeah.
And you also got to come to OVW together, so like and wrestle in a tag match together, and so that's pretty awesome too. Well, a couple of
Yeah,
tag team matches,
pretty cool.
and so
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. Um, now keeping with the pack, how did you all come up with the name the pack?
It was a bit of a long process, to be fair. Because initially I was suggesting other things like I think I suggested like Adrenaline Rush. I thought that would have been a good name, or like I think Sonic Boom was another one. I can't remember, but the general gist I was looking for was something a bit theme like like the Rockers or something that sort of theme. and I think he was looking for something a bit darker. And then initially, the name was going to be like I think it's going to be like the New Breed or something like that. But I'd already known there was like other tag teams called that. Like there was the ECW New Breed and stuff like that, wasn't there? And then that sort of changed, and it wasn't being called the New Breed. And then he wanted to call it the Pack, which I think stemmed from like the Wolf Pack. But obviously we couldn't have Wolf Pack because of the NWO.
Right.
And he said the Pack, and uh, with the wolf sort of connotations, I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And yeah, that's just sort of how it came about. But yeah, we cycled through loads of names to get to that point. But yeah, we settled on the Pack in the end. Yeah,
I like the Sonic Boom. That would have been a good name.
yeah, I felt like that one would have been good. Yeah,
Yeah. It goes with your name, Dynamite, for sure. It definitely does.
yeah.
I like that. um, do you prefer singles wrestling or tag team wrestling?
um, I prefer singles. I'd say. Um, yeah, I think singles you get more time, don't you? Like yeah, as a tag team, sometimes as the face, the beat down will happen on the faces. Then you're waiting for the hot tag, and everyone loves to be in the ring for as long as possible, don't they? So yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, I like tag matches, but I do prefer singles.
definitely, definitely. Um, Now, what was it like working your ladder match, the Pack versus the Heathens? What was that match like?
Um, yeah, it was good. It was good. It was something different. It's the only ladder match I've done. The ladders were a bit iffy as well. We had to be careful which one to use because one of them was a bit dodgy. But yeah, it was a different experience. It was a different experience. It was tough to climb the ladders as well because when you climb them, they wobble a bit on the ring. So when you're sort of 10 feet up, it feels like you're gonna fall. It feels really weird. But
Right.
yeah, it was a cool experience. It was a cool experience. And one of the guys in the match had an injury as well, which we had to work around. So I think we did pretty well given the circumstances. And yeah, the crowd was packed, and yeah, I think they popped pretty well for it. Good match, I felt. Yeah.
Definitely. If you had to choose cage match or ladder match, which one would you choose? Having been in each.
Like if I had to do another one in the future,
Yes.
think feel like I could get more out of a ladder match. I think. I do love a good frog splash or a good diving headbutt, and feel like it would be cool to get one of those off the top of a ladder. So I'd
Yeah.
have to go with a ladder match.
All right. All right. Fair enough. Um, Now getting to Louisville and OVW, How did your opportunity to come to Louisville and come to OVW come to be? How did that all work out?
Um, that worked out through the trainer in the UK, at Al Snow's Wrestling Academy. He obviously knew Al Snow, so that's how it came about. Because I think initially there was supposed to have been about 6 people, I think, come, but then a few people got dropped off and stuff, and then it just ended up as 2 people. And yeah, then we sorted out the hotel and the flights and stuff. Came over for the 2 weeks, and yeah, that's how it came about. So just him talking to Al Snow, and I don't know too many details about it to be fair, but there was an agreement somewhere, and yeah, then it came about.
There you go. Any a chance of you coming back to OVW possibly
Hopefully,
or
hopefully, yeah. Hoping to do something next year. Nothing in place at the minute, but I felt I made a good impression, and they said I was welcome back. So hopefully, sometime next year. Definitely
that's
hoping to come
awesome.
back.
I'd love to see you be able to come back to OVW for sure. What was the overall experience of training with OVW and being here those couple weeks? And then, what was your biggest takeaway from the experience?
Oh, yeah, it was really good, really good. Um, I was training with Doug Basham uh, in the advanced class, and then I also did training with Cash Flow as well because they had other classes on throughout the week, and I thought, well, I want to get in the ring as much as possible, so went to every class I had. Met Chance as well, who you have on the podcast. Shout out to Chance. Got me free dunking. Fair play to him. Yeah, but yeah,
Dunking some
it
good
is good. It is
donuts.
good. We don't have it in England either. Well, I think we've got like a couple, but there's not many about. So yeah, that was cool. But yeah, the training was really good. Really enjoyed it. There's loads to learn as well. Loads to learn because like don't forget I've only been wrestling like a year and a half, so like my knowledge is like here. So there's loads to learn, and learning from Cash Flow who's been around for like 20 years, learning from Doug who's been around for I don't know 20, 30 years and wrestled in WWE and stuff. There was loads to learn, loads to learn. It was really good. Um,
Definitely, and uh, some of the top wrestlers from England and from your part of the world that they have came through OVW. There's I'll just throw out a few names: Rob Terry,
yeah,
Doug Williams has been over here. Wade Barrett, he was in OVW.
yeah,
Drew
no,
McIntyre even was in OVW, and so like such a good amount of names from your part of the world have came through OVW. Katie Lee Burchell, Paul Burchell, just numerous amount of names, and so for you to be a part of that, that's got to be pretty cool too. You know,
yeah, really cool, really cool. Yeah, like even now, Crixus from Scotland
yeah,
as well. Yeah, here's another one.
yes, for sure, yeah. I don't know how I could have forgotten about
Yeah.
Crixus. Um, what is the biggest difference in wrestling in America versus wrestling in the United Kingdom? And then what are the similarities?
Ooh. I'd say one difference was I'd say just it happens to America as a whole as well. I think the UK seems very compact, like very condensed,
Mhm.
like just as a whole as well as wrestling. Because our rings are smaller
Yeah.
and our rings seem to be harder as well. I don't know if that was just an LVW thing, but
Mhm.
yeah. Like the rings in the UK tend to be like 16 foot, 14 foot, whereas at LVW it was like a 20 foot ring. So
Yeah.
that took a bit of getting used to. And like like the rest of America's the same. The UK is just this tiny little island. Everything's all joined. Whereas while I was in America, everything was all flat and wide and big. So yeah, that was like a general thing as well. But yeah, that was one of the main differences. And then obviously the production side of things at LBW. I think that's one of those things that's different to everything everywhere because as far as I'm aware, it's only WWE and AEW that have a live weekly show. So being a part of that and experiencing that was something very different. Having to stick to your times and making sure you get stuff done and hard cam and stuff like that. That was something very different. And then similarities would be uh, I'd say the crowds are pretty similar in a way. Obviously the dynamics different. Like in America, I sold the fact that I was British because that's what made me unique. But the general dynamic of the crowd's the same. The formula's the same. Like they respond to the same sort of things, and I feel like you can work them pretty similar. So I wasn't too far out of my comfort zone in that sense. But yeah, there's a lot of things are the same, but there is a few things that are different as well.
I like to hear that the like you explain those differences and the similarities. I like to hear that. That's very interesting to know. Um, is your is your time in the wrestling business thus far, or I'm sorry, in your time in the wrestling business thus far, who have been some of your favorite people to work with?
Ooh, favorite people to work with. Um, I'd say Ash Cady was one. He was really good to work with. Found him real easy to work with. Um, who else? In America, I found Cal Hero really cool. We only did the one match together, but he was really cool to work with. And then meeting Cal was great. He helped me loads as well, so it was really good to be in the ring with him. Um, who else? Who else? Yeah, I had some good matches with Aaron James as well. So that was cool. Um, Axel Carter as well. Um, Again, he's one of my favourite people to work with. I've never had a singles match with him, but I've had a couple of tag matches with him, and then I've teamed with him as well. Yeah, I've teamed with him, and yeah, he's one of the best in probably in the UK, I'd say. He wrestled in Mexico recently as well, and
Wow.
yeah, he's got probably like 10 years experience, 10, 15 maybe, I don't know. But yeah, he's got loads of experience and he's loads to learn from him. And yeah, he's one of my favourites to work with as well. So, yeah, there's some really cool people.
Awesome, awesome. What is the best advice you have been given thus far in your wrestling career?
Best advice, best advice. Um, I've asked a few people for advice. I think one that's it's quite simple advice, but it applies to everything and not just wrestling. And it was from a wrestler called Johnny Rose, and he said just to adapt to things, And that was his advice about wrestling in America as well. Is that whatever situation you're in, you just need to adapt to it. You can't be throwing a hissy fit about oh this is different or I'm out of my comfort zone. You just got to deal with it. You've just got to adapt, and I think that can be applied to the rest of life really. So that's some of the best advice I've had.
Definitely, definitely. That's some great advice. Like you said, not only for wrestling, but for life as well. Yeah, you definitely have to adapt to things for sure. You recently have had some opportunities to train with former WWE UK star Dave Mastiff, and then Zach Zodiac, who, for those that don't know, is the brother of current AEW star Saraya, and formerly known as Paige in WWE. What are those? What were those training sessions like? Training with the guys of that caliber.
That was really good, really good. Those sort of people you've got loads to learn from, loads to learn from. Like Dave Mastiff as well. He's wrestled in LVW as well, which
Mm-hmm.
was pretty cool. And then he's got like 20 years experience. He's wrestled all over the place. He's one of the best in the UK. So he's got loads of knowledge, loads to learn from. And yeah, it was great training with him and really intense as well. Really intense sessions. And same for Zach Knight as well. Yeah, he came in for a seminar and yeah, really, really good session, really in depth, and top bloke as well. Um, he came all the way from Norwich and he even went overtime by like half an hour just to teach some extra, which shows the kind of person he is, which was really good. And yeah, there's just loads to learn from those kind of people. And another one was Shah Samuels as well. I trained with Shah Samuels. Again, he was on NXT UK and he was a guest trainer for NXT recently as well. And yeah, like those kind of people, there's loads to learn from. And the main thing they all tend to like specify is, just getting the basics right. You got to get those fundamentals right, and then that's your building blocks for everything else. And if you can get that right, you can go far. So loads to learn from those and really good experiences.
That's great. I love that you took the time to go to those seminars and those training sessions. Because you're only going to grow by doing things like that, by going to those seminars, getting in the ring and training with guys of of that caliber, getting to train with people that have been somewhere. Like if I'm gonna be for me, for example, for if I want to be a big podcast, you know, I'm gonna go and listen to what works for other people, and then learn from
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
and so like it's great. I love to see that you're doing that, and I hope to see more of that from you. And that hopefully you can get back over here to the U.S. as well, and then but can't wait to watch your journey more in the UK. If you could have
100%.
any dream match, who would your opponent be? What type of match would it be? And where would the location or venue be?
Oh, oh, okay, okay. It's a tough one. I think venue, Madison Square Garden. It's like it's the mecca of wrestling, isn't it? Really, that'd be the place for me. That'll be the venue. Um, Match, just be a standard singles match. I think. Just a standard singles match. It's simple, but you can't beat it. And the opponent, oh, I don't know. I don't know. So many people to choose from. Maybe, maybe Dynamite Kid, Dynamite Kid, or Dean Malenko. It's one of those two.
That's two great options
One of
right
those
there.
two. It's
Both
tough.
technically and technically sound right there, and yeah, that'd be a good match.
Yeah, two of the best technical wrestlers ever, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, definitely, exactly. Um, what are some of your goals in the in the next 5 years in the wrestling business? Some of your goals.
Or 5 years. Definitely want to come back to LVW. That's a big one. Um, Wrestle long term for LVW. Hopefully, that'll be a big one. Um, and hopefully by that point, be able to wrestle a lot more than what I am right now. Hopefully, in 5 years' time, maybe make a living from it. But it's gonna be difficult. But I definitely want to be on that pathway. Definitely want to be on that way towards being able to make a living from wrestling. So if it happens in 5 years, 10 years, but in 5 years' time, I definitely want to be on the way there, if not already there. So that's
Definitely,
where I want to be.
definitely, and I definitely wish and hope for the best for you. Definitely, like I said, love to see you back here in OVW, back in the US, and definitely wish all of your goals to come true and to come to fruition for you.
Thank
Any
you.
upcoming shows you would like to promote?
Upcoming, October 7th is my next one at the moment. That's AWW Breaking Point. It's in the Halesowen Town Hall, and yeah, October 7th. I'll be there. I'll be there. That's Alternative Wrestling World. And then another one. It's not finalised yet, but it's in the works. So there's BCCW Halloween Mayhem 2. That's October 21st, and that's at the Sedgley Ex-Servicemen's Club. So that's Black Country Championship Wrestling, that one. So two two coming up. So
All right, well, fans, if you're in those areas and you are uh, wanting to get out and support some great indie wrestling, go get out, support Jesse Dynamite, support the other indie wrestlers on these shows, and go support these shows. Go spend your hard-earned money and go watch some great professional wrestling. How can fans find you on social media?
just search Jesse Dynamite Pro Wrestler. Um, just remember it's Jesse. That's how you spell Jesse. Jesse Dynamite Pro Wrestler.
There you go. Fans, go find them on social media. and go follow him. Go give him some likes and shares and all that good stuff. Go
Yeah.
follow his YouTube page as well.
Yeah,
Um,
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. That's the three I've got at the moment.
yeah,
But
and go follow him, and we'll be posting the show on YouTube as well, and you'll you'll hear it. You can have that. You have the option to watch the show or listen to the audio version, or you can do both, watch and listen. So that's both worlds right there. And so
yeah.
yeah, go support Jesse and go follow him and like him on all of his social media. How can promoters contact you for their next show if they're interested in bringing you in?
There's a few different ways. You can always just send me a message through social media, so Facebook or Instagram. Then there's also my bookings email in my Instagram bio as well. So you can always just drop me an email as well.
Sounds good. Promoters, go ahead and reach out to him. Bring Jesse Dynamite to your next show, and you will not be disappointed. At this time, Jesse, I want to thank you for coming on the Final Count Spotlight. You're welcome to come back
No worries.
anytime, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Been really cool.
Likewise, and like I said, best of luck to you, and looking
Thank
forward to
you.
watching your journey.
Best of luck to you too, sir.
Thank you.